Okay, well, as they put the microphone on, I was told one fact, and that is the wine has been poured, which took as a hint to not say very much. But I think it's been a fascinating afternoon. I've learned a little bit, not as much as I probably need to, but there are a few things that I really like to say. One is, for me, the different presentations have epitomised what I call that pull and push between technology and science. You know, we have the presentations on astronomy, which have been about how can you do new things and how is your ability to do new things constrained by technology and computing. And we could have put that in a dozen applied science areas. And we've had the computing people describing how they're doing things that will take you one step forward and allow you to think about things that you've never thought. And I had that little thought when we talked about lasers and all the big things lasers have done. But one thing lasers have changed absolutely completely is those little scanners on check-ins where they run the whole stock control, financial model, ordering model, and distribution model, every consumer good in the world. I often wonder what you would have done in 1962 if you'd have tried to explain how you're going to invent lasers so they could run supermarkets that didn't exist on computers that didn't exist with customers who couldn't drive to the shops. It's a whole gambit of things happen on the technology side and the computing side, and as you said at the beginning, translate to the application side and the science side. But this push and pull between technology and science is something that's been long-standing. And I came out of a world, I'm an environmental scientist by training, where if the science got too far in front of the technology and the computing capability, it stalled for a while the computing caught up. If the computing or the technology got way out in front of the science, people used to turn around and say, what the hell have you spent all that money on that for? And I remember in my youth, a long time ago, mid-80s, and I spent what today will be about $3 million on a computer for the Environment Research Council, and got lambasted for about a month about buying this irrelevant machine. And 6 months later, I had to buy another one because the first one was inadequate. And to this day, I do not know which day in that 6 months it was perfect. But it is that push and pull between the two. Until you get the opportunity to try something, you don't know what you're going to be able to achieve. And you've got to have the ambition to see where you're going and the ambition to drive. And I think coming back to Pearson, where he was, he had all the attributes that very few people had. He had the intellect. He had the vision to be able to say we're going to do something different. He had the persistence, because persistence or perspiration, is a big part of achieving anything. And he had the charm, and I say he had the charm because he did persuade senior executives of CSIRO to spend a lot of money on something that was very novel and off the wall, which is, if anybody who's worked in CSIRO knows that's always a challenge to achieve. And as executives, I can tell you how hard it is to make that decision. But he did have all those wrapped up in one person. And that's a rare person. And that's why he was great and why he remains great and why we celebrate today. And I think, as we move forward, we've got to really understand how these people did push forward everything for us and enable things that we hadn't dreamt about before. And now new people will come along and do that. So I think in that context, Pearson is one of the greats, and probably one of the unnamed greats at this moment in time. I think outside of an inner circle, he's not as widely known as some of the other names that are around. So I think it's really important that we recognise his contribution. Really important we recognise this pull and push between science and technology. And I thought the last presentation, the first time maybe realised that computing is now a science, and it is actually using fundamental science to get to the last level of computing. Whereas before it's used, as everybody said, off-the-shelf stuff that you can just improve all the time. And Pearson, he wasn't a lone wolf either. He was a team player. He was a collaborator. He worked with a team. He clearly was very passionate. He was a founder member of the Australian Computer Science Society and an active participant. So as he moved through life, he did other things as well. And he had quite a wide range of interests. So I think from that point of view, I'd just like to say, let's all go outside and have a little drink and celebrate what Pearson achieved. Let's take into account what we heard today, that great science that we achieve on the one side using modern computing, and the great challenge to develop better computers to do greater things, and realise that it's people like Pearson that kicked this off and took the world into a new era that we've never been in before, and we now will never get out of. And just celebrate it. I'd just like to thank everybody who's presented today, and thank Wayne and his committee for organising today, and hope you go on to greater things in the future. Thank you, everybody.